The fork and knife shook in my hand as my sister's words sliced through our holiday meal chat. "It's just so sad that some folks never make it big," Sophia said, her eyes slipping over to me with fake sadness. "Emma, maybe you should ask Mr. Harper about jobs in the mail area. At least it's a real business, Mr. Harper." Sophia's boss and our dinner visitor laughed right on time, wine splashing in his fancy glass. The noise of their giggles got louder as my face got hot. I felt my heart squeeze as I saw my parents share that look. The one full of 17 years of letdown since I ditched the family dream. My phone buzzed quietly in my pocket. Fourth quick note from the team about tomorrow's big buyout. The one that would help or hurt Mr. Harper's job. The one that just needed my... Okay, my name is Emma. I'm 32, and this is the tale of how I quit. Hiding my wins from the family that saw me only as a loser. Hadn't meant to spill the beans tonight. For 5 years, I'd kept up the fake life of being average, the simple teaching gig, the cheap home, the used car. All while growing Peak Ventures into a huge worldwide company that had secretly bought Mr. Harper's business through a side group last season, wrapping up the full join just over a year ago. "The garage is all set for you, Emma," my mom said, jumping into my thoughts. "We added a warm blower out there since Bella needs the extra room. She's having a baby. You know, as if being pregnant was better than simple kindness." The table got quiet, family acting like they weren't listening, but catching every bit. This was their yearly fun. Seeing Emma get knocked down. The garage. I kept my voice calm, even with the winter cold sneaking through the windows. "Don't make a big deal," Mom said, handing the berry jam without eyeing me. "There's a warmer, and it's not like you're not okay with basic spots." I thought about my top-floor home looking over the big park, the beach house on the island, the private spot I'd bought last summer, all hidden under bunches of fake companies and quiet owner setups. "The garage is okay," I said, cutting my meat into neat bits. "I'm sure it's nicer than what most of my local school kids have, Sophia's." Grin got bigger. She loved when I talked about my teaching work, more sign in her head of my mess up. "That's the way," she said, her shiny armband catching the light as she grabbed her drink. "At least you know where you fit." After the meal, Sophia took me to the garage, a chilly hard floor spot even with the tiny warmer buzzing weekly in the corner. They'd put an old army bed between Dad's sports sticks and boxes of holiday stuff. A thin cover sat folded at one end, likely grabbed from some back shelf. "Dinner tomorrow is at 7:00 p.m., Sophia said, her voice bouncing in the empty space. "Try not to bring any mess into the house when you come in." As the door shut behind her, I took out my phone. 3 quick emails from the team needed my look before tomorrow's gathering. The same gathering where Sophia's boss would show his season reports. Not knowing his end-of-year extra pay hung fully on my say-so. I grinned a little as I wrote back. Sophia had no clue that her great boss, Mr. Harper, had spent the last month trying hard to set up a chat with the hard-to-find head of Peak Ventures, the main company that had secretly bought their group last year. My phone dinged with a message from my helper. "Mr. Harper asked again about meeting you before. Tomorrow's team gathering. Should I say you're not free?" "No," I wrote back. "Let him think I'm still in the big city across the ocean. It'll make dinner more fun." I switched into new clothes, carefully covering my fancy shirt under a plain top. The garage was super cold, but I'd handled tougher in my early days of making my big business. While Sophia had been moving up the work steps, bragging about each tiny step up, I'd been quietly buying companies, changing whole fields, and making something way larger than anyone in my family could dream. At exactly 7 p.m. the next night, I walked into the eating room, sitting in my spot at the very end of the table, as far from the key visitors as could be. Sophia sat near the top next to Mr. Harper and his wife, giggling at something he'd said. "Emma!" Dad called out. Sophia was just telling us about her newest step-up, young second boss of workflows. "Isn't that great?" I nodded, taking the plate of meat being passed. "Good job. Soph. Peak Ventures must be happy with your stuff." Mr. Harper smiled wide. "She's one of our up-and-coming stars. The join with Peak last year has made so many chances for smart folks like Sophia." "The join," Mom sighed with joy. We were so scared when we heard Peak had got the company, but it's worked out great, though no one knows much about Peak's head. Very secret, isn't it? Sophia leaned in, ready to share her inside info. It seems she's the stay-away rich person who never shows up in public. Some say she lives in the big city across the ocean. Others think she's in the Far East City. No one at our spot has ever met her. I took a drink of wine to hide my grin. If they only knew that the secret head they were chatting about was sitting at the end of their table, sent to sleep in their garage. I heard she's super smart, Mr. Harper added, changed at least 12 big companies in the last 5 years. Built Peak from zero. Well, Sophia said like it was nothing. She can't be that smart if she's hiding from all. Probably some rich kid who got lucky. Just then, Mr. Harper's phone buzzed. He looked at it, his face getting a bit white. Sorry, I need to take this. He stepped into the hall. But his voice came clear into the eating room. Yes, I have those papers ready for tomorrow's team gathering. No, I haven't reached the head lady yet. Yes, I get how key she's still in the big city across the ocean. Mr. Harper came back to the table looking upset, his earlier sureness gone. Sophia, always ready to show off, right away started another tale about her recent wins. I just fixed our whole workflows group, she bragged, cutting her meat into neat bits. Saved the company lots of money. I checked my phone under the table, bringing up the real paper from that job. Sophia had indeed made changes that had lost the company almost $3 million in bad ways. I'd been watching the numbers drop for weeks, waiting for the right time to fix it. As head, I got daily news on all big group changes, especially those run by workers like my sister. More wine, Emma? Mom offered, probably hoping to keep me quiet during Sophia's big moment. Though, maybe you should stick to water given your money spot. Sophia laughed softly. Yes, local school teachers should really watch their cash. Mr. Harper's phone buzzed again. This time, when he checked it, his face went all white. I need to make another call. Urgent work. As he rushed from the room, I could hear him almost pleading into his phone. Please, just 5 minutes with the head lady. The team gathering tomorrow. I'd told my helper to start sending him a bunch of more and more quick notes about tomorrow's gathering. A bit mean. Maybe, but after years of seeing Sophia act big over me, I felt okay with some showy fairness. Talking of work, Uncle Tom jumped in. Did you all hear about Peak's newest buyout? They just took over global deals for $12 billion. Sophia sat taller. Really? That's one of our biggest rivals, a mean takeover, Aunt Lisa added. Global never saw it coming. This secret head, she's totally tough. I thought about the global deal, remembering the late nights planning, the careful moving of stuff. Tough wasn't the word I'd pick. Smart. Maybe set on goals, for sure. Mr. Harper came back again, looking like he might fall over. The head lady is calling a quick early team gathering tomorrow at 7 a.m. All group leaders must come. Sophia's fork hit her plate loud. What? But tomorrow's holiday. She doesn't care, Mr. Harper said weakly. She's checking all recent workflow changes. Sophia, bring your fixing papers. Now seemed like the best time. I cleared my throat gently. Mr. Harper. He looked up, seeming shocked to hear my voice from the far end of the table. Yes, the gathering's really at 8:01 a.m., not 7, and Sophia won't need her papers. I've already checked them. The room went quiet. Sophia let out a shaky laugh. What are you saying? You don't even work for Peak. I stood up slowly, fixing my plain top. Actually, I do. In fact, I am Peak. I turned to Mr. Harper. Those papers you've been trying to get to me, I got them last week. We should talk about the season-end guesses. They're wrong by about 30 million. Mr. Harper's mouth opened and shut like a fish needing water. You're Emma Thompson, head of Peak Ventures? Yes. I grinned, liking how Sophia's face had lost all color, though most folks just call me the head lady. Mom's wine glass fell from her fingers, spilling red across the white table cover. No one moved to wipe it. This is a trick, Sophia whispered. It has to be. I took out my phone. showing my company card on the eating room wall. There it was in clear view. My picture, my job, my company. No trick, Soph. While you were moving up the work steps, I made the whole place. But you're a teacher, Mom stuttered. I teach one class each term at the local school. I fixed her, because I think learning and helping out is key. The rest of my time is spent running one of the biggest money groups in the world. Sophia pushed back from the table, her chair scratching the floor. You can't be. You live in a small home. You drive a basic car. I own the building where my small home is. As for the car, I shrugged. It's good for the world, unlike your fancy car, which, by the way, you probably shouldn't have put on the company bill. Mr. Harper had dropped into his chair, no doubt thinking of every mean comment he'd made in gatherings about the secret head. The garage, he mumbled. We made you sleep in the garage, yes, I said softly. You did. All of you were so busy deciding me by looks that you never tried to see more. I turned to Sophia. Remember last month when you said no to Lisa in money for time off for her kid's doctor thing? Sophia nodded without words. I okayed her health break myself and set up the top doctor in the land because that's what real bosses do. They look after their folks. Dad finally spoke. Why didn't you tell us? Would it have changed things? I asked, looking him in the eyes. Would you have acted different if I hadn't won on your rules? This family checks value by fancy names and money piles. I wanted to make something that means something. I turned to Mr. Harper, the team gathering. Tomorrow will go as planned. We'll be talking about the work, flow fixing, that lost us $3 million, among other stuff. My eyes moved to Sophia. I suggest. Everyone comes ready. You're going to let me go, Sophia whispered. No, I answered, picking up my things. I'm going to do what I should have done years ago. Hold you to account. Winning isn't about jobs or best spots. It's about being honest. New ideas and real outcomes. I went toward the garage to get my bag. Behind me, I could hear the mess starting. Mom's complaints, Sophia's no's, Mr. Harper's fast phone calls. One more thing, I said, stopping at the door. I won't be sleeping in the garage tonight. I have a room at the fancy hotel, which I own, by the way. Happy holiday. As I drove away in my world-friendly car, my phone dinged with notes from family. Sorry words, reasons, tries to change the past. I skipped them all. The next morning, I sat at the top of the meeting room table in Peak's main spot, watching as Sophia and Mr. Harper came in with the other workers. Gone was my sister's smug better-than-you-look, changed by something that seemed a lot like respect. Before we start, I said, I want to chat about company ways, about how we treat folks no matter their job or seeming level. Because winning isn't just about money, it's about being good inside. Sophia wouldn't look at me, but I saw her writing notes, for the first time in her work life. Sometimes, the best payback isn't about getting back. It's about showing folks that their view of you never counted. Anyway, while they were busy looking down on me, I was making a huge world. And as for next holiday, I think I'll have it at my spot, all 15,000 square feet of it. Let them sleep in the garage.